Hello, everyone. Thank you
Welcome.
guys for being here. What I like to do first is play a little commercial, and then when we come back, I'll introduce Kevin. So give us like 30 seconds, and we will be right back. This way I put up my tickler. I didn't even put that up. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Okay, we are back. Thank you everyone for being here. I am nervous. I know. How am I nervous? I am nervous, but thank you all. This is going to be an interesting topic. There may be some tears, so if you're sensitive, I'm just warning you now. But welcome in. I have my guest, Kevin Kaye. You guys also know him as Tuber Chat. Yes, I have my tissues as Tuber Chat. Thank you guys again for being here. If you are adopted or you know something about adoption, once we go through our little conversation at the in the middle or the end, we will, come back to the chat and ask you to come up if you like to and share. I know everyone doesn't like to share, but it's okay. So first I'm going to go through the chat and then we're going to get into this. Again, thank you all for being here. Please thumbs us up and share us out. And it just so happens today is National Adoption Day. And guys, we did not plan this. We did not plan this.
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys for being here. I see Tanisha. Hi, Tanisha Armstrong. Welcome in. Hi. How are you? Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Anibala. Hello. We have Blood Dragoon. What's up, Tuber Chat Ray? Thank you, Tuber Chat. Kristen. Hey, my sister. How are you? We have Kid Wonders Gaming and live stream. Thank you for being here. Welcome in. Hold on one minute. Okay.
Good to see so many familiar faces in the house.
Not a Ray because I was coming here either way, but we still want to announce Kevin. He is a boss. He is Mariska. Thank you so much. Hi, Shanna's Home DIY and Crafts. Hi. I feel like I'm off because my camera is like over here.
Yeah.
We have Kevin Kaye welcoming everyone in. Thank you guys again. Please do thumbs us up. We got Tuber Chat Raid again. Thank you so much. She said Kevin and Vernes night guys. Woohoo! Yes, we are a great team.
That's true.
Hey Mariska, how on earth it seems forever? 16 minutes. Oh my goodness. Donut, toys, and games. Hi, how are you? Okay, I see my cousin coming in. I'm just gonna bring up on the stream. Hi, I'll be right with you, cousin.
Okay.
We have Kiara. Hi, Kiara. Hi, welcome in. I see quite a few people, so give me 1 second. I don't want to miss anyone. We got Scratch and Pete, designs by Cadpro. We got my mod and my member, Eat to Live Strong. Thank you for being here. Carolyn Eats All. Hi, Carolyn. How are you? And all the people that are rating from Tuber Chat, thank you again for being here. We got 20 in the building. What is up, everybody? Hey, Georgia Bulldogs. How are you? Save with Fifi and Mississippi. Hello, Angels Army. Hi. Thank you guys for being here. Michael's Adventures. Hey, Michael. Hey, Jason. Jason Gardette is here also. How you doing? Let's see who else we have. If I'm missing you, I do apologize. Butler Bob, hello, how are you? Ray Raquisha is here. Hey, Ray Raquisha. My girl, DMV Dining Diva, and congratulate her, guys. She's monetized.
Very good.
Yes, congratulate her. Okay, let's see. Jason said, I'm so happy to see that stream. Yes, thank you, Jason. Okay, guys, I'm at the end. If I missed you, I apologize. My mods will welcome you in. Today, we will be talking about adoption. And again, today is National Adoption Day, which this was not planned. It just so happened that it was. Hey, P Sweet, how are you? So, guys, if you don't know, and some of you do know that I was adopted, and I talk about it somewhat. So some of you that are close to me know. Hey, 12 Veils, how are you? And also, Kevin Kaye is adopted. If you guys don't know him, he is Tuber Chat. And yes, he's adopted. And we talk all the time, about this. So this is nothing new to us. And then I have my cousin, Adrianne. And guys, she is my actually real blood cousin from birth. And I will get into that, how we got connected in a moment. So guys, welcome in Kevin Kaye. Welcome in my cousin, Adrianne. And we have questions, and then we're just going to have a candid conversation. And again, if you want to ask a question or you have something to say, put a green heart so I can see it in the chat, because we'll be talking. And again, my mods will welcome everyone in. Hey, Bless143, Mariposa, hello. /Kiana, you're amazing. I love that you're bringing awareness to adoption. I feel love need to be shared with all children, open homes, and family. Yes, and not everyone has a great opinion on adoption, and this is why the title is what it is. Not all adoptees think alike. Mm-hmm. So first, I'm going to have Kevin introduce himself, introduce his channel, and then he's going to tell us what he wants us to know about his part of his adoption, and then we'll go into more conversation after that.
Okay, thank you for having me, Vern. And Adrianne, it's nice to meet you for the first time. So thank you for coming and joining us. Thank you for everybody, especially that came over from Tuber Chat. And for those of you who are seeing me here with Vern for the first time, we're dear friends. We've known each other a year now, and we've been doing a lot of different panels and stuff like that. And forgive the self-promotion, but for those of you who are used to seeing Vern and I talk more YouTube-related stuff, we did a 2-hour live stream where we talked all about YouTube and how you can benefit your own channels on Tuber Chat, and that's our episode 100 that's on our front page. I happen to do a lot of YouTube work. I'm lucky enough that that's half of my full-time gig, running channels for other people. This is how Vern and I ended up meeting, and only through our friendship did we discover both of us happen to be adopted, and that's the reason we're here today. We know we have different opinions about it, and we think it's going to be a really engaging conversation for everybody.
Yes, could a mod please drop Kevin Kaye's link in the stream? They're asking for his link. Yes, it can be dropped. Thank you so much. So I have my cousin Adrianne on the panel. I'm going to have her tell us what she wants us to know, and then we're going to get into some questions to see how it is that we came about. So let me know your side of the story, Adrianne. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, she frozen? Oh, I think you're frozen, cousin. Yeah, you might have to go out and come back in.
We go out.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Sometimes you get that. Yeah. So, as for me, I was adopted at birth. What that means is I was adopted as a baby, all right? Straight out the womb, 6 weeks old. Oh, here she comes. Let's see. Can you hear me, cousin?
I can hear you.
Okay. So tell me your explanation of how we got together, and then I'm going to go into it more.
Okay. I got on Ancestry to find some of my family. I was really interested when I moved from California to Georgia because I heard that my grandfather was originally from here, and I didn't know that until I moved here. And at the same time that I had moved here, we have another cousin named Chucky who moved here at the same time. And he is the one that told me. He said, Grandpa was from Georgia. And I said, no, I didn't know that. So that really got me interested. And it was just amazing that I was going to be, in the same state that my grandfather was born in and that his family was born in. And it was just very interesting to me. And I love history. So I really wanted to find out what happened, what went on, just everything. So I started an Ancestry page years ago, and I saw my cousin Laverne, and and it was some other relatives that I had gotten in touch with, but they was just like, oh, nah, look at this tree. They would just tell me, look at the tree. And so it kind of got me a little discouraged. But when I found Laverne, I said, well, let me see, if she would open up to me, if she knows anything about the Roberts side of the family. So when I reached out to her, she was just so engaging. I was like, oh, wow. I met a cousin on here that wants to talk to me. And
Wow.
and that's when she told me she was adopted and she was trying to find out some information. But I was just excited. So still trying to find out some more, but we're getting there.
True. So yes, Blessed Mariposa said her sister reached out to her. She took her husband's, hired a lawyer, and she's legally ours now. She'll be 6 years old. Well, congratulations. Okay, so yes, adoption can be a great thing for some of us, okay? And some of us, it's not a great thing, okay? So for me, again, I was adopted at birth, straight out the womb. I never knew I was adopted until I was a grown adult married out of my house. So for me, I never knew as a child growing up. Now, as for Kevin, you tell us your experience. Did you know as a child, or did they tell you, or how did you find out?
So it's interesting because I see what Blessed 143 Mariposa is mentioning here. And I was adopted, as far as I understand, 6 months in. So I believe that I was with a foster home just for a few months before my parents got the call to have me brought in. But it's interesting that Blessed 143 Mariposa is asking about, we don't know whether we should tell her right away or whatever. My parents told my sister, and I have a sister. We're not blood brother and sister, but we've grown up together, right? Like we were both adopted at birth and grew up, as normal a life as anybody could expect, right? And my parents told us so young that I did not understand what they were even talking about. And I went to school and we were having, I vaguely remember the story, but we were talking about power adapters, like that you might use to plug in an electronic device. And I said to the teacher, I was adopted, because I didn't understand, because they told us so young. So there's never been a conscious moment that I didn't know. But it's interesting. I'm really glad we're having the conversation, because it's going to give me the chance to explain what may not be a common mentality, but it's not something I think about every day. It's not something that I ever talk about unless it's brought up. And I don't believe that I feel any different than anybody else growing up with my family, with my sister, with all my cousins, aunts, uncles, and everything else. It's not something that's conscious all the time. I don't feel like I was treated any differently than anybody else. I had the same stable household. My sister and I love each other just as much as any other sister, and brother do, and this and that. And all of my family feels the same way, I believe. So it's interesting. I don't know the right answer when it comes to how old should a child be before you tell them, but I can tell you right now that my sister and I were both extremely young. She's 3 years younger than me, and my parents told me when I was too young to understand. So we've never had a moment not knowing, and I don't think it mattered to the way that we turned out, if you want to put it that way, whether we knew a few years later or not.
Hi to the people coming in. How are you? Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jason, for the super chat. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. I see the Chit Chat Queen, the McCrae King, Cheryl Freeman. Hi, guys. Welcome in. So as for me, again, I was adopted at birth, and they didn't tell me till I was an adult. How I found out was I'm saying my mom, because I didn't know my birth mom. My birth mom passed away giving birth to me. Okay, so during childbirth. So I don't know her at all. This is how I got into contact with Adrianne, and we're going to get into that. But I didn't know until I was like 21 years old. For me, I think that at 18 is when you should know. I particularly don't think you should tell a child when they're little, because they really don't understand, especially under 10 or 11 years old. They don't understand. Like you said adapter, but you thought they were saying adopted. So to me, you didn't comprehend that. So I think they should wait till you are mature enough to handle it. I don't think you should tell them when they're a teen, because teenagers already go through enough being for that. So Adrianne, what do you want us to know about? Okay, you went through the Ancestry, we talked, and about the other people, family that are on there that are not reaching out. Like what are your feelings toward that?
My thing is, why would you get on there if you didn't want family to reach out to you? And what are you hiding? Like, I am so open to letting you know everything that I know, and I'm hoping that you would do the same so we can, close the gaps. So yeah, it leaves me like kind of iffy. And then when you don't want to tell me, then I don't want to bother with you, and then that's not good because we're supposed to be family.
Exactly. Well, I told her once we got connected, she wasn't getting away from me. And I mean, in the beginning, I called her an awful lot. And we don't even say Adrianne and Laverne. We say, hey, cousin, because I am super excited. I don't want to cry. I'm not going to cry.
Right.
I'm super excited to have family. Like, we are blood. We are family through Ancestry, and that means a whole lot to me. And unfortunately, with this corona, we can't meet because we were going to meet, but with all of this, but we will meet. We talk on the phone all the time for hours, and that is a awesome feeling to know that there's somebody out there that has the same bloodline as you. And like for me, I did do Ancestry. I did do My Heritage, and there's another one, I can't remember the name of it, but I have not done 23andMe. So I'm going to ask Kevin, what has he done to go on with the adoption process, or if he even wants to know, because some people don't. So I don't want to put words in his mouth. I want him to tell us how he feels about even doing Ancestry or any DNA tracing or tracking.
So I actually received my 23andMe kit as a gift. It was a Father's Day gift, right? Kristen got this for me, my girlfriend. And it's because more than anything, it's just fascinating. So I'm well into my 40s, well into my 40s now. And I find it interesting that it's like the idea of searching for, if you want to call it blood relatives, to me, didn't matter at all. It never has. And I find it interesting because there are lots of polar opposites. Vern and I, while we get along, while we're friends, we both have very different views on whether, the different things that matter when it comes to being adopted. I now have gone through the 23andMe, the basic, simple kit, and I'll get my results eventually. But that's more just kind of to know the stuff that I don't feel really matters, but like, okay, your heritage, right? Might I be Polish or Ukrainian or British or Scottish or anything like that? Because in Canada, a lot of people tend to be drawn to their origins, right? When you ask somebody, what are you? Somebody might say, I'm Portuguese or I'm Italian. We don't do it like they do in the United States, where they say, I'm Italian American, or I'm Portuguese American. It's very important to people in the States that they're from America, they're American, they're very proud. In Canada, it doesn't seem to be the same way. Now, I'm happy to be Canadian, and I don't look at it any other way. But now I've started the 23andMe process just so that I can find out that stuff. Now, I may expand that to get into health, because, you want to know if you're in line for strokes or heart attacks or Alzheimer's or all this other stuff. And if they can help, then that's fine. I'll have a look, right? But as far as finding everybody, it didn't matter to me at all. And I don't know why. I don't know what the reason for that is.
You just don't. That's good to, that's in your heart. See, for me, I was a sickly child, and in New York, it's hard to get any information. I'm sorry, guys. This is really emotional. Not to cry. But in New York, for the longest time, they would not give anyone their information on their adoption. It didn't matter how old you was. They just recently opened it up. And now with COVID, they're behind again. So it's like every time I tried to find out a lot of information about me, I couldn't. And then my family, when I say my family, that's the only family I know, they're not telling me anything till this day. And that's why me and Adrianne, I think, are so close, because I'm always asking her, hey, do you know this family member? Do you know this one? This is the name. This is where they live. And, we're still trying to find the connection. We did find one of our great grandfather, but we're still trying to find like closer, because when you're doing the Ancestry, it goes by levels, like first cousin, second cousin, third cousin, and stuff like that. We're still trying to find something closer, and we are stuck right at that point, which is crazy.
So you know what's funny about that? So Vern and I have talked about this before when we discussed the idea of even having like a live stream like this where we talk about it. So the same goes for myself in that when I have looked, and I never cared to look, my mother's always been forthright. She's like, I've got an envelope here with all your information. If you want it, I'll hand it over. You could do all the looking you want, right? But I just never cared. And I wonder if that's part of the reason as well, because it was always available. But she did tell me a name, and I'm not going to get into it here. But for instance, so when I go and I Google search, can't find a thing. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because we're so much older now and we never looked before, but it's like everybody's in the witness protection program or something like that. Vern and I have discussed this and we joke about it, but we can't find anything anywhere. They've disappeared. And, you know, I'm sure if we look harder, maybe eventually some answers will come. But it's interesting how you want to know so badly, but you are not ever able to. I don't care to find out some of that stuff at all, but it was right in front of me for my whole life if I wanted it at any time. It's very interesting to me.
And I also did it for, like I said, for medical reasons, and I'm still not sure of everything. But for Adrianne, she actually, like I said, like she said, she was on the Ancestry and finding out. So Adrianne, tell us when you did reach out to cousins or aunts or uncles, like, did you continue to stay in contact with them? Did they call you again? Did they not? Tell us like exactly what you went through and your feelings of what is going on.
Before I got to my cousin Laverne, I had been reaching out to, like I said, different cousins, and it was one in particular that and she knows who I'm talking about. She has all the information, everything. She knows everything. And I spoke to her once, and the only reason why I was able to speak to her is because, now I have to do the levels myself. The only reason why I was able to speak to her is because she was with her father at the time. Her father is my grandfather's nephew, and he stays in touch with the family. So when I spoke to her, I spoke to him. I said, I'm trying to do the Ancestry thing, and I'm trying to find out. And he said, a good person will be to talk to is my daughter and my mother. And he said, as a matter of fact, my daughter's right here. Spoke to her on the phone, and she said, oh my gosh, I have so much. And she was like, you wouldn't believe, like, just the family history. She said, but I have a lot in there. And I said, okay. Took her number, called her, texted her. She never responded back. Never. And I mean, at the time, I was so excited that I was like, oh my gosh, I can get some information from her. And like I said, I'm so into history. And I just want to know. I just wanted to know where I come from. And history. Living here in Georgia, I've always loved, like, Black history has been so interesting to me. So interesting to me. Just to the walk where my possible ancestors have walked amazes me.
Yes.
So I really want to know. And she never got in touch with me. And it hurt me bad. It really hurt me because I was like, I questioned myself and I said, well, what did I do to her? And why doesn't she want to tell me? Like, what's the big secret?
Exactly.
And exactly. Other people that I have reached out to, they don't respond. Vern, my cousin, is the only one. She's the only one where we have built a relationship and talk all the time. And I'm so grateful. Thank goodness I got on Ancestry because I would have never found her.
Yeah, me too. Because it was, years go by when you're like, I want to know. Then you're like, you know what, forget it. Then you're like, I want to know. And then you're like, and then with family, for me, with family not telling me, that really gets to my heart. And I love my dad, and I would never disrespect him in any way. But that one part that he won't, that eats me up so bad.
Nah, that's too bad.
If he doesn't tell me, is he going to take it to his grave and never tell me? How fair is that to me? I'm an adult. I should know about me, like where I came from, and with them not telling me, that hurts. Now, have you guys ever known anyone that was adopted besides, you know, what we're going through right now? Like growing up, did you ever hear anyone say that they were adopted, Kevin or Adrianne?
Now that I think of it, it wasn't common. Or I shouldn't say that. It might have been. It's just that I can't think of anybody offhand. Right? I've got some other family members that are adopted as well, but not, you know, friends in school and stuff like that. It's just, like I said, it's not something that comes up for me ever unless somebody else brings it up. Right? So, Vern, when you and I first connected, you had a video where you were searching for information. Yes. So this came up between us as a subject. Otherwise, we may still never have known. If it wasn't for the 23andMe kit, I may have never said a word about being adopted on YouTube, not because I care to say or not say, but just because it doesn't come up every day. You know what I mean? It's just not something that I think about all the time. And, you know, it's interesting. Like I said, that's why I'm so interested in what we're doing here and what we're talking about today, because the different points of view, hopefully they can be helpful to somebody. But, you know, like we've got questions in the chat about, you know, you mentioned, okay, your thought is maybe people should know when they're about 18 years old, right? Whereas I would still say, you know, I've been fine. My sister's been fine. I would say it's okay to tell kids when they're very, very young. But again, I don't know. But it's interesting our differences of opinion on the idea and the different ways that we look at it as well, right?
Yeah. Can one of my mods please drop my video of my adoption in the stream in case someone doesn't have it? We got 30 people here in the stream. If you have not viewed that video, please watch it and leave me a comment on it and share it out. Share it out on all your social media because that may help me to get in contact with family of some kind. So I'm going to have Adrianne tell us, and I'm just going to grab my mom's picture. Let us know if you knew anyone growing up, rather in your family or friends, and how you felt when they said that to you. What was your reaction?
Well, just like Kevin said, it wasn't like something that was mentioned a lot. And I don't have anybody that's close to me that I know that's adopted except you. When I grew up in school, it was just a lot of foster kids. Oh, they were fostered here, you know, with a family. But that's it. I didn't have anybody close to me.
Thank you, Ray. Long story, but I followed my father and kind of wish I didn't. Oh, wow. Oh, you found your father. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so on that note, sometimes, here I go again, I'm sorry, with the waterworks. Sometimes when you meet people and you are adopted, it does not work out. Sometimes they don't want to know you, or they don't want you to know them or their family. That is a hurting feeling. Because I watch the stories on TV with long lost family, and some of them have happy, beautiful endings. And I'm always sitting up here crying. And my husband's like, why are you watching that? You know you're going to cry. Because I want that. I want that feeling of, I'm telling you, when me and Adrianne first met, I'm telling you, I used to cry all the time. Because she just doesn't understand how much it means to me to have a little bit of a connection. Because when you don't have that, you feel lost in this world, no matter how old or young you are. You know, I want to just show you guys my mom's picture. Maybe someone may have seen this picture somewhere or know her or anything. Let me put it a little closer. Let me see. You know, so this is what I was told. Again, I'm not 100% sure if all of this is even true. I'm still finding my way. But yeah, it's not always a happy ending, but as for me and my cousin, yes, we're always talking. Even if we don't talk every day, I'll text her, how you doing, whatever like that. Because I think even if we don't talk every day, we still have that connection, and she's not going nowhere. I don't care if I have to find her again. She ain't going nowhere. She's stuck with me. With the YT cheerleader guys, she's stuck.
Wow.
Kevin, have you, why have you not wanted to find your family? Like, I don't know your story if you even want to talk about it, but being that you know you're adopted, you know, sometimes people, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can ask me anything. I'm fine to talk about anything. Yeah. I don't.
So you're adopted. Yeah. Why did you not? So do you not want to know your mom and dad, or what is the reasoning, if you care to say?
So let's imagine that there's a 50-50 shot that if I go and look for somebody that's a blood relative, they might have their life together and be fine and everything else, but there's also a chance that they won't. You know what I mean? And I don't, for that reason, that's a part of it. It's not the main reason why I don't look for anybody. I have seen other disasters where people have connected with people that are blood relatives, and the first phone call gets into borrowing money and chasing each other around and all this other stuff, and I'm not interested in any of that. But if I was to guess, I would say that probably the reason why I never wanted to know is because, like I said, my mother always said, I have the information right here. Anytime you want, you can have this envelope and do as you want with it. So that's part of it. But the other thing is, there is not one member of my family that I have ever known that ever treated me differently than any other members of the family. My aunts, my uncles, they all act as aunts and uncles should. My cousins, like grandparents, everybody. So like I said, it's just something that is not a conscious thought all the time. And I'm hoping that I can give, like maybe even like parents, thinking about adopting people, or like newly adopted parents and stuff like that, can know like that it's possible that kids aren't gonna go their whole life thinking about this 24 hours a day, because I just imagine that might be a fear in somebody. But again, it's just interesting to me that we have different opinions, but I really don't have a true answer on why it never mattered to me to look for anybody. And if there's people out there that know that they have like a baby that had been given away for whatever reason back in the day, I don't know why that was the case. If they wanted to find me bad enough, I am the easiest person on the internet to find. So, it's not like it's that hard. And I don't know whether I care for that either. But, I tend to try to be open-minded about most things and say, if somebody showed up, maybe I'd at least entertain a conversation. But I still have no intention of ever going looking, because I have enough, and the interesting thing as well, I happen to be a family man. My happy place is always spending time with my family, whether it's birthday get-togethers, whether it's just dinners, whether it's a holiday or something like that. That's all I ever want to do, is be around my family, which is my family, right?
Well, Kevin, I will say that sometimes people were young, like 13, 14, 15, and they got pregnant, and maybe they were forced to give up children, all in all. But we might be related, because I do have some, looking back, white family members, as Adrian can tell you, we do have white family members in our tree when we look back. But again, when we get to that person and we try to go down, it like stops. So, I think we're all related anyway, in some way, shape, form. But you never know, Kevin. I might be
anything possible. Cousin. Anything is possible.
It is. Anything is possible. Adrian, what else do you want to tell us about your journey through, finding out about, you said your dad and your ancestry and all that? What else do you want us to know about it, or tell people in the chat to do it or not to do it?
I think you should. To Kevin, I just wanted to say, I think why lots of Black people do it too, this is another reason, is because we could be cousins. And then you don't want our kids to marry their cousins.
Wow, that's an interesting thought.
A cousin, right? That's another reason. You don't want to go down the family line and find out, you have a cousin that you feel a certain way about.
Wow.
He loves me. He loves this cousin. So.
Yeah. Again, anything's possible. Hey, it's not without validity.
It truly is. So let me ask you guys this. If you were in a situation and you had to adopt a child, would you be open to adopting, or would you like, nope, I'm dead set against it, I'm not doing it?
You go ahead, Adrianne.
If I was young again, yes, I would definitely adopt. child. I had been thinking about it for a while, but then I was like, my youngest is 15. Do I want to start over again? And then I have so many feelings about it. And then I don't, it's so hard. And I know it's so hard too for kids to be adopted as teenagers or young kids. Babies seem to me to be easy. As you get them from a small baby or a small child. It seems like when you get to the middle age, like the middle school age, or like going probably like third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then the high school, they feel like they already feel like they aren't wanted. You want them to, you want to adopt them to feel wanted, but then I've seen them give that pushback. You know what I'm saying? And about that, I don't want the stress, but I would love to adopt a child. If I had to, if a kid came to me and said, you know what, I'm looking for a home, I would most definitely take that kid and make him or her mine.
Okay. Kevin?
So I think it would depend probably on different points in my personal life, right? Whether I was younger. So I have a son, pardon me, and he was born when I was 23 years old. So that's young enough for me to know, okay, I never even have to consider it. So it's not something that ever came up as like a thought other than when we talk about it now. It's really hard for me to say under all circumstances. Everybody goes through ups and downs in their lives in all different ways, right? Emotionally and this and that. And there are things that I wonder are a psychological side effect of being adopted. So for instance, I have this thing where I never seem to actually feel like I fit in most places. So when I've played team sports, or when I'm in a group, or when I was, like Boy Scouts classes and things like that, it's almost like always an outsider looking in. And for the few times that I have felt like I was a part of something, takes years and years and years to build. I don't know if that has anything to do with being adopted or not, because my family has never made me feel that way. It's only something, I guess, because I'm not a psychologist and I haven't talked to a psychologist about it or anything like that. It's only a thought. But that's always in my mind. So when the idea comes up, like, whether I would adopt or not, a lot of it would have to do, of course, with financial stability and stuff like that. Like, are you able to provide the life that a child needs? Because you're not planning for a year or 2 years or even 3. You're planning for 20 years, let's just say, of I got to look after this situation, and it changes your entire dynamic. So, when I think about my parents were not able to have their own children. They tried and tried and tried until it became, if you try again, it's a fatal mistake, right? So then they adopted. But like I said, they have never made my sister or I feel like we were adopted, and nobody in our family ever has. So I don't know how much this is helpful and really even answers the question. But, I think a lot of it comes down to the point of time in life, right? If you're, a very young person, whether you would adopt or not, or, whether you would have to give a child away and stuff like that. There are a million reasons that we couldn't even think of today for why a child might have to be given up for adoption. You know what I mean? So there's so much that plays into all of this, right?
I don't know if you know Ola Joe, the crocheting sailor, Kevin, but she says, I put both of my first 2 up for adoption and kept the third one. Our story is on at Finding F8. Is that a channel? Oh my goodness, Ola Joe. If you like to come up and give us some reasoning, if you care to. Some people don't like to talk, and I don't want to push you. But if you are open to talking, let me know. I'll drop the link. Now, I wanted to say some people or some children are in adoption agencies and then they age out at the age of 18. And I feel so awful for them. However, for me, I'm so grateful I was adopted, because who knows where I would be. And like I said, they adopted me from a baby. So I never even knew I was adopted. Now,
Mm.
say this, and this is going to seem very strange. On my street, it was about maybe 50 houses. Okay. 10 of the houses I knew personally, like we were friends. We're still friends to this day, 2 of my friends. They are both adopted. And I knew they were adopted growing up. We always knew this in school, but I never knew I was adopted. So as we started to get older and we talked, and now we take vacations when we were able to go out, take vacations together. And us 3, all 3 of us, all of us are adopted. And everybody on our street adopted. But I never knew I was adopted. They both knew, my neighbor knew, they all knew they were adopted. And I would always say to them, it's okay that you're adopted. You're still my friend. I was adopted too, because I never knew. So now we really have a connection because, you know, we grew up since we were 5 years old. And we still friends today. Sometimes they come in the chat. I'm gonna look and see if they're in here.
That's funny.
They come in the stream. And that's amazing. So I wanted to say, have you told anyone that you were adopted? Like, I know you said in school, but as growing up, like maybe at work or anything like that, have you ever said that to anyone, Kevin?
Oh, it eventually it comes up. If you know somebody long enough, eventually, you know, you get into life stories and stuff like that, right? So a lot of times what will happen is somebody will ask, I think it usually comes up with what's your background, right? So a lot of people might think that I look maybe Polish or Ukrainian or something like that. And when it comes up, I have to say, I don't know. Right? So somebody will say like, well, what are you? Right? Oh, I'm a Portuguese, I'm Italian, I'm Irish, I'm British or whatever. I have to say, well, I was adopted. I don't know. But my family, as it is, all of my grandparents were born on Canadian soil. So I'm as Canadian as it gets. Right? But the background I've just never known. This is what I'm going to find out soon. So what I spoke with Vern about before we decided to do this was we'll have our live stream today that we're going to talk about sometime between now and eventual. My results will come in from my 23andMe kit that I've got here, right? When that comes, I'll do my video of my results and that'll be interesting and this and that. And then maybe we can have another talk like this again and just see, because the dynamic will have changed because I will now know some of my history where today I don't know a thing at all.
Right. Well, for me and Adrianne, I have not done 23andMe yet. But you know, it's an option. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm open to finding any kind of information. And Kevin, some of the information I do have leads back to Canada. It really, really does. Yeah, I'll tell you about it off screen, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my goodness!" But you know what? There are people that do grow up and marry their cousin, and then don't know, and come to find out their father might have had a relationship with somebody else years ago, and then he got married, and then he had this child, and this child met the husband, and yeah, they're cousins.
Wow.
They may be 3rd or 4th or 5th cousin, which I don't know if that affects the bloodline, but I know if they're immediate cousins, like 1st and 2nd, I think that's like against the laws. Not that they did it on purpose, but if they don't know, because people hide stuff and they get married, they don't fell in love, they never knew that they were related. I mean, that has to be.
This is stuff I never even considered, to be honest with you. Wow.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I will say this, and Adrianne can back me up. In the Black community, a lot of people what I mean by the Black community back in the day, like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, a lot of Black people, like our parents, would say what happens in this house stays in this house. And I still hate that saying till this day, because it affects me. You guys are hiding stuff from me, and I'm a grown woman and I still don't know. I feel like a child. I feel like I'm 12 or 13 sometimes when I'm trying to look at information.
Yeah.
That's not fair. So Adrianne, to tell us, you know how we grew up, that was like, what happens here stays here, and it's not right.
It's not fair. And even like just thinking about, like you said, you could have a cousin and you don't know, you could have a sister and you don't know. Back in those days, a lot of men too had different families or separate families, and people don't know that they have a cousin from that or a brother and sister from that. So I believe that you have to do that ancestry to find out, you know.
Wow.
I will say this to Kevin: when you are on My Heritage, no, GED Match, when you're on GED Match, it gives you a link to put in your mom's name and your dad's name. There is a number that's associated. I'm assuming it's something to do with the DNA, and it will tell you if your mom and dad is related. I'm just saying, say you, not you, but say if your dad, was intimate with his niece or something like that, and they produced a child. When you go to put in their name and information, it will give you that link to say these people are related.
Wow.
I did that. That's the first thing I did. And no match that they weren't. But there are people on Ancestry who said that, their grandfather and their aunt or something like that were intimate or raped or whatever in the case. Back in the days, a lot of people were raped. I'm being honest. This is an adult chat. They were raped and they produced a child, and maybe that child was given up for adoption.
Right.
That happened, a lot. You want to say something, Adrian?
Just going back to that, going back to slavery, that happened. It happened. And it's just really it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because we don't know. And on the other side of my family, on my mom's side of the family, is from Belize. My whole family is from Belize, on the side of the family. Well, in Belize, there is my aunt. Her name, her last name, is so huge in Belize that it's like if you have that name, you might be related. You know, it's huge. And just like I think it's one that's named Westby, Flores, Garrett. It's so many. It's so, and I believe that a lot of people from Belize should have that done. So broad. It's crazy.
Wow.
Daddy, uncle, right? that's a joke, because
real.
it happened. It's like, again, like I said, in the Black community, they would say what goes on in this house stays in this house. But meanwhile, you got Uncle Chester, who was a child molester in the back room. He got Alzheimer's, but he was touching the children the whole time. And they, in our community, they did that a lot. I'm not saying every Black community, but it was a lot that went on.
Yeah.
And this is why, for me, it was, believe me, I took that GED match to see if my mom and my dad were
right,
or if something had happened, because I don't know my story. And to be honest with you guys, I think, and you guys know I'm very transparent, I think that I was part of, and not to be a joke or anything, but part of the Black market. I really do believe that. Something is wrong. Something is not adding up. So I believe that there was, I'm not saying they did anything to my mom or, anything happened, but something is not right because the papers are not adding up.
It's just too bad that you have to not know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That really is. So, Ms. Terrell 2.0 asked, do you feel differently knowing you're adopted? So the dynamic for us is going to be different because you found out so much later. But I have a question for you that might go along those lines. Do you find that your family dynamic changed when you were notified that you were adopted, and then therefore there must have been members of your family who didn't know until you knew? Is that the case, Vern?
It was the case for me because I grew up with two sisters and a brother, and they always knew that I was adopted and they were adopted, but they were related. They were actual either cousins or brother and sister. But for me, I don't know anything about, especially my mom's side. I know zero, zilch, nada, except for what I looked up and searched hours and nights and crying. Adrianne can tell you, I would call her crying and saying, you know, this isn't right. I need to know. And was telling me. And when no one tells you, you start to think strange things about.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, I'm not telling you that your real name is Kevin. And you're like, well, what is my real name? Is it John? Is it Robert? Is it Bob? But no, I'm not telling you. So now you don't know what your name is. And that's how I feel like I don't know. I'm just
it's too bad. And again, this is part of the dynamic. My parents explained to me why I was named the way that I was. When I was first born, my name was Jeremy Mark something. And then they changed it to be Kevin so that it was their own name for me, but they left Jeremy as my middle name. Now I have moved on to name my son Jeremy after me, but so he can have his own identity, right? But then it's still like, you know, carrying it on. But it's interesting. But you know, when this stuff was brought to me, like when I was so young, I've never not known. It's interesting that the dynamic of how I look at all of this information and what I don't care to worry about is the polar opposite of yourself. You're dying to know because you can't know, and I don't care to know because it's right in front of me. It's very interesting, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ola Joe. I do appreciate you telling us that because you did not have to divulge that information. So she said, finding F8.
Oh, Finding Fate.
Channel. Finding Fate is how it's pronounced. Oh, Finding Fate. Okay, awesome. Oh wow, Teresa, look at the family line. Oh, okay. Let me go back to the comments. And my other question was, have your parents said anything about you looking for your family? Well, I know that you're not looking, but have they ever said anything about, okay, go look, we'll help you, or don't look, we don't want you to know?
No, they would have if my mother has always, my father doesn't talk about it as much, but my mother has always been like, if you want to know, I will help you. Here's what I have so far. And literally she has an envelope with a bunch of stuff. And she'll say to me occasionally, you know, things like, you know, your history is really not that bad. It's not like some horrible situation that led to you being given away or whatever. I still don't know anything about it because what I say to her when she presents that to me is, I don't care. And it's not that I mean to have a bad attitude. It's just, I'm not interested. It doesn't matter to me because when I think about, let's say Christmas is coming around the corner, right? I know you guys have Thanksgiving and this and that, but Christmas is coming around the corner. And all I care is to spend time with my family, enjoy the Christmas holiday. Like we celebrate Christmas, of course, but we, you know, that's what I look forward to. I don't think what's missing in my Christmas, what am I not experiencing, and what should I have experienced for the last some 40 odd years because life would have been different. It doesn't even occur to me. Only right now because we're talking about it. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Totally Tubular said they were adopted at age 10. Oh, wow. So I want to ask Adrianne a question, and then I'm going to come back to you, Kevin. Adrianne, when you did the Ancestry, of course, for the Black community, we all know we originated from Africa. We know that. So I found out some other things, you know, like I had a little bit of Irish or something like that, England or something like that. When you looked at those numbers, were you upset? Were you happy? Were you like, how did that happen or not? And then Kevin, I have a different question for you.
With that, I wasn't surprised because I knew well, you know how you hear things. And then too, which is so funny. You know how us Black people say, oh, I got Indian in my family. You know, all the time. We always hear that. And on the Roberts side, I've heard that so much. But then as I follow history, I knew what that was about. And then you know, our cousin Thais, you know, she's talking about that. And I'm saying, no, Thais, you know, I don't know. That's not a true fact because more than likely we were just put in their tribe. That's about it. But as far as having that Indian blood, I don't think so. Now on my grandmother's side, I knew you know what what we had. I knew that we had some Spanish in us, so it wasn't a surprise, and I was just like, okay. I did want to ask Kevin a question though.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're not interested in finding out, about your family. What if children want to find out? Will you give up that information to
Well,
them?
of course, 100%. In 1 second, if my son wants to know anything at all, then I would say then we will look for your benefit, because it's not that I want to say I care or don't care. I am totally indifferent about it. But my son, that's my blood son, of course, like I had a son, right? And so therefore I love him as much as any father loves their son. If he wants something, I will do anything I can to make sure that he has it. Particularly now, the consideration about health comes into play, because I'm not so concerned for myself, because I tend to be, except for being overweight, I'm in perfect health. But you do want to know. I want to know more for his benefit. Now, it's not an emergency yet. He's only in his 20s, but I will probably eventually want to get looking into that for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. You were going to ask something else, Vern, too. Were you?
Yeah, I was going to say, what else do you want us to know about adoption and your journey, like I said, growing up, or anything of that nature?
Well, I noticed Georgia Bulldogs was mentioning in the chat about maybe being made fun of or picked on, or if I catch it way about kids not understanding. That's very, very unfortunate, because I didn't have that experience, and I don't. I'd have to ask my sister to know whether she ever did, but I don't think so, because I don't remember us ever talking about that. We were never upset about it. It wasn't something that we even conversated about. It was just a fact that didn't matter, any more than the color of our shirt that day. And but I can't think of anything in particular that I'd like anybody to know, but I'm happy that we have the opportunity to talk like this, just so that I can say, especially for the parents that are wondering, how are the kids going to turn out? Like, maybe we've seen a few things come through the chat where people have said people don't want to tell the kids, even though they have to, because they're afraid of pushing them away and stuff like that. I don't know how to think about that, because I was lucky enough to have, I never didn't know, right? Like, I've always known that I was adopted, and I don't think that it affected almost anything at all. I mean, maybe there's psychological side effects that I don't know anything about or whatever, right? But it's never led to any negativity. It's never led to me loving my parents any differently than anybody else loves their parents. As I get older, I feel like I love my parents even more. I call them, more often. I'm become friends with my mother in my 40s. You know what I mean? Where like we talk, and if I don't talk to her within, let's say, 7 days, it's almost like I missed the conversation, right? So then I reach out for that reason. But I mean, this is all like just detail what I'm talking about. But like I said, my aunts, my uncles, cousins, everybody has always treated me the same as everybody else. So it's not like I ever felt any different. So if there's one thing I wish for anybody to know, is that there are probably many more people who feel the same way that I do, who don't feel any different.
It's definitely.
Because
not everybody wants to know.
It could be a positive, what I mean, in somebody's decision-making process, especially whether it comes to adopt or not adopt, right? I think it's possible. Everybody can just turn out fine. We all have different circumstances.
Right. I will say, if you are adopted and you are trying to look for family, I will say, use caution, be aware, because even though you're excited, for me, I'm excited to know and want to get, you don't know the other person when you connect to them. They may think that, oh, you're my sister, but my dad wouldn't have had an affair with another woman, and that's my, you keep all that in mind. You have to keep in mind that, as for me and Adrian, it was just something. And when we talked, I was like, look, I'm trying to find it. And if you don't want to go on, then, we don't need to further this conversation. But she was like, no, I want to know, because I, like Adrian, have talked to several people, emailed several people several times. They wouldn't get back to me. They wouldn't get back to me. And I can see that they read the message because it tells you that person. Well, why are you doing the Ancestry if you don't want to know? Then you shouldn't have put yourself out there, because now I want to reach out to you and you're not reaching out to me. Not that I feel rejected, because I almost kind of feel glad, hey, they're not contacting me. It's their loss. Maybe they're a weirdo, or maybe they're strange, or maybe, it's something wrong with their side. So you have to keep that open, that not everybody is happy for a reunion. Not everybody wants to know. And like the cousin that we have in common, we know she knows a lot, but she refuses to reach out to us. And what are we going to do? Go over there and knock her upside the head? You have to tell her. I mean, what can we do? So we talk a lot about it. And, I get angry. I don't know about Adrianne, but I do. Because I'm like, if you know, just tell me, why are you hiding it?
Right.
It has nothing to do with you. This is my life. This is my life. And I don't know who I am. And this is wrong.
Wow.
And you have all of this information about me? Come on now. This is wrong.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah. She could be she can close. I believe she can close that gap that we're looking for. And I'm telling you, I have been to the National Archives. This is before I met MsVern, though. I have been to the National Archives, and at one time I was able to get into her tree. And because I only had a little bit of time, and then after I met Laverne, I went back to go see if I can get into her tree again. And Ancestry has it they closed everything, so it's not like you can't. That you have to have permission now to get their tree. But if you how you have to pay on Ancestry to to get a subscription. When you go to the archives place at one time, when you would go there, everything was open. So, and that's why I would go, because at the time I didn't want to just pay for, the subscription to Ancestry to get into people's tree. I said, well, let me drive here first, since it's here. Let me drive there and see if I can get a vast majority of things. Let me do this all at once. Not the same anymore.
Wow. Coach Sherry said she lived several years ago. We lived in a small town, and I met a family with kids my age. Turned out the grandfather of that family and my mom are first cousins. Grandma was one of 15. Wow. Yeah, back in those days. Thank you, everybody that's coming in. I appreciate you for being here. Please thumbs us up and share us out. We're going to ask just a couple of more questions, and then we're going to come to the chat. If you guys want to, come up on the panel, tell us anything about an adoption you may know of, or maybe you're adopted, if you feel comfortable to talk about it. Okay, I don't want to force anyone to talk about it. But as for me and Kevin, again, we're both adopted. We have different ideas of how we see adoption. But, I love Kevin, and it's not that I'm angry with him. He's not angry with me. We just we had different ways of our adoption. And I do want to say this. My family is my family. I love them. But it's the part that I don't know about is what I'm upset about. But
makes sense, though.
Mom and dad adopted me. I'm telling you, I never knew. So I never even knew to feel any kind of way, except for that's my mom, that's my dad.
Yeah.
And when she told me, and I'm not going to lie, when my mom sat me down and told me, I literally was like, you're lying. Like, I did not believe it. I was like, what? What? I'll never forget. The Good Times episode. Good Times is a TV show. I don't know if you know it, Kevin, but a lot of Black people know. Janet Jackson was on there. She was burned by her mom, and Walona adopted her. And I remember that episode when she said, I love you, mama. I'm telling you, I cried. I still remember that till when it happened. And that episode always eats me up, because she was adopted because of abuse. I was adopted because my mom died. So if my mom died, that should be more of a reason for me to know. And it's not. And that is what I think pisses me off the most.
Wow. It makes sense, though. It makes sense what you say. It's got to be hard. I hope it's not. I wonder if it's hard for you to listen to somebody like me sit there and say, I've got this information, but I don't care to know. When, you wish you would know so badly and the information's not available to you. I'm sure it doesn't seem fair. Right?
Right.
But
And I want you guys to stay tuned to my channel, because I am going to be working on writing a book. And in that book is going to be some detailed information, and hopefully somebody will read it and maybe they'll know me. I have been places where people would stop, and I'm not lying. You can ask my husband, and stare at me. And I'd be like, what are they staring at? And they were like, is your name such and such? And I'm like, no. And they'd be like, oh my goodness, you look just like. Now remember, I grew up in New York City. Okay, you know how big New York City is. But for someone to stop me at like a Greek festival and ask me, do I know someone, and that I look so much like this person, and then they brought their sister or cousin over, one of their relatives, and they was like, doesn't she look just like such and such? And it's like, well, maybe I could have been related, but I didn't know. I didn't know at that time that I was even adopted. So of course I'm like, no, I don't know you, But when I think back, I'm like, well, maybe it was.
No. Well, I see Ola Joe says they're willing to come up, I think, if you want to.
Oh, okay. Ola Joe, hold on. Let me drop the link.
Thank you, everybody, for saying hello and this and that, too. It's nice to have so many familiar faces in the house. Most of you know how bad I am with keeping up with the chat, but I do appreciate everybody reaching out.
Yes, I do. And thank you guys for welcoming in my cousin. I have a cousin, y'all. I have a cousin. So
but that's exciting stuff, and I'm really happy for the two of you that this has worked out, right? Because that's an opportunity that I'm missing. By not going to even look, I'm missing the opportunity of maybe having something good enter my life, but it's because I'm giving the trade-off of I don't want anything bad, I don't need anything right now, so I'm not going to bother. But I'm so happy that for the two of you, this has worked out, because now you have something in your life that's a positive that you otherwise didn't have. And who knows where that's going to carry you both for the rest of your lives now, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And when we talk, and I be telling my husband, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. He be like, hey, I know already. But that's just how it's like I'm telling you, here I go with the waterworks again. I'm sorry, guys. I love my cousin.
I love you too.
I do.
Yes.
Ola Joe, I dropped the link. Please do come on up and talk to us and let us know. So we will open the chat for questions. If you guys have questions or want to say anything and let us know, you're more than welcome to. Again, we thank you so much for being here and just listening to our stories. And you guys know I'm very transparent. I talk to you guys. I don't hold that away from you. But Angel, Light Over Darkness is here. I see Eating with Miss P, Black Brand Friday, in Rachel's Place. Thank you guys for being here. Kristen. Hey, Kristen. That's love. I love when he say it. You say it, Kevin. You can say it.
It is. Kristen's my my love. Yes, absolutely. Yep.
I love when he says that. Do you see Ola Joe? I'm looking through the stream. Again, if anyone wants to come up, you're more than welcome to. I dropped the link. I do need to see your face when you come up, and then you can put on the avatar afterwards. Okay, I dropped the link again. I am just Nene said, it doesn't matter how big the world is, karma has a way of bringing folks together. I have been in San Diego walking down the pier and running into someone I went to high school with. Oh, wow. Wow.
It can happen. That's for sure.
Sure can. Thank you, Kiara. Thank you.
That's my BFF forever there, Kira Welton.
Yes. I'm on my phone. It's okay, Angel. Cheryl said, I'm still here cooking dinner. Okay, I was looking for Ola Joe. She said she was going to come up. I love when he says that too. Yes, Eating with Miss P. P is how I met Kevin. No, I'm sorry. I met, what do I want to say? Me and Kevin was friends, and I met Mrs. P. That's what I want to say. Oh, here's Ola Joe. Hold on. Hi, Ola Joe. How are you?
Hello.
If you guys don't know Ola Joe, the crochet sailor, please get over there and check out her channel. So I'm going to let her tell us what she wants us to know. And Ola, you know Kevin Kaye?
We do now.
We do
Okay.
now. Yes.
Okay, well,
Kevin.
see,
Hey,
we've been
Adrian.
friends, and this is my real blood cousin that I found through Ancestry.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
that's wonderful. Such a blessing. Because I
Yes.
know
So
you've
thank you
been
so
looking
much.
for your family. So I'm really happy. I am Ola Joe, the crocheting sailor. I put Finding F8, which is called Finding Fate, up on the screen because that's where our story is told. Okay, I have 3 daughters. When I was in high school, I got pregnant and I was playing basketball. I was doing every kind of sporting event you can name. Okay. And so I got pregnant. Keep in mind that my family, since Vernes was talking about the Black family, I grew up in the church. Okay. I'm not a PK, which is a preacher's kid, but a lot of people call me a PK because I was in church most of the week. Okay, so I knew I couldn't have any children out of wedlock. So when I had my first child, everything was hush hush. I couldn't say anything about it. Everything was pretty much swept under the rug. And I agreed to do an adoption. Not only did I do it once, but I did it twice. So I put my 2 daughters up for adoption while in high school, graduated, and kept my third one when I went to college. Okay. So all of that was basically frowned upon. My mom wasn't happy about it. My grandmother had already was dead and gone, unfortunately. But I mean, I was trying to live by the rules and I was supposed to be the quote unquote golden child. I was supposed to be one that wouldn't make that type of mistake because everything I did was great, until that. And so moving right along, I'm in California. I'm in Los Angeles, California. And I had moved around quite a bit. So I stayed in different parts of California. But the reason why I mention that is because all of 3 of my daughters were born in California. Granted, I'm retired Navy now. So once I finished college, I went and joined the military. So I've been going across the world. Okay. And I named my daughters and I specifically named my daughters so if one day they can find me. Okay. My middle daughter is on right now, Naree Knox. I named her April Olita Smith. I specifically picked that name because I said one day if she wants to look for me, when she says I'm April Olita Smith, I'm going to know that's her. Okay. So we were reconnected. This is my middle daughter. So that's the second one that I put up for adoption. I'll get back to the first one. So we were connected through ancestry.com. If there is anybody that's on the panel or in the chat that is wondering or on the fence about ancestry.com, it's real, it works, and I know because it says 100% child parent relationship. It says it on there. But not only that,
It sure does.
Yes. So I knew for sure once I logged into it, and thank God I took the test because I didn't know that my daughter had taken the test. My daughter Naree took the test. And so when I took the test and then she finally contacted me, I said, oh, wow, isn't this something? She's right at the top of my tree, the information for Ancestry.com. So I've recently reconnected with her. She came for Thanksgiving. This is obviously before COVID. She came with her boyfriend, now fiance, and now she's going to be giving birth to my third grandson.
Wow.
Yes. And we have established a relationship. Now, it did take time. I mean, it wasn't easy. I'm not going to sit here on the panel and say that, hey, it was great and we just hugged and sang kumbaya together. No. I mean, it was ups and downs. This is something that I've suppressed for all of these years. Just the pain. people don't think about the fact that the person that put you up for adoption went through something. You don't know what they went through, but they went through something to bring you into this world. Okay. And my thing is this: they got you here because they really could have done the alternative. Okay. But they didn't. They brought you into the world. You're here. I say every adoptive child, whether you have bad feelings about your birth parents or things didn't work out, just thank them for bringing you into the world. Thank you for letting them give you breath, because if not, you wouldn't be here. You know, it was tough for me. I mean, I think about it and I say, you know, I fought back tears because I regret that I gave up my 2 children for adoption. But the only thing that I know that I can do from here forward is just be there for them, support them, and be able to give them information that nobody else can give them. Your adopted parents can't tell you about your medical history. They can't tell you about what you ate and what you didn't eat. I don't remember everything. Okay. And my daughter will say it if she goes in the chat. I don't mind her saying that some of my memory is foggy. It's because, first of all, it's years ago. You know, second of all, is because I've suppressed a lot of that. I had to go to counseling. My mom sent me to counseling after I gave up my first child. And then when I gave my second child, she was like, oh, I'm sending you back. Okay, because I had to learn how to live. You have to live, be able to learn how to live and move forward.
And forgive yourself. Yeah.
And, and so that's what I did.
Well, I do have a couple of questions for you too.
Mm-hmm.
So that is true. Both people must take the test in order for you guys to connect. So even though I'm looking, if my aunts and uncles and sisters and brothers are not taking the Ancestry, we will never connect. So that's one. Yes. 2 is we also have family in California, right, Adrian?
Yes. Oh, y'all do?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm from California.
Oh, she's from California.
You from California? Oh, okay. What part, Adrianne, may I ask?
LA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So when you said that she contacted you through Ancestry, were you doing it to find her, or were you just doing it just to be doing Ancestry? Because sometimes when you're doing things, you're thinking in hopes of finding. And then when she found you, like, what was that anticipation like? Amazing?
It was amazing for me. It really was. It put a stamp on things for me. But I did it because I wanted to get more of my family. I wanted my family to find me. I wanted to be able to expound on our family tree, because it only goes back so far. Now we
know that.
Yes, we go back to the 1800s for my family tree.
Yeah.
And I have thousands of people. I mean, we go all the way back to Jeannie. Does anybody remember Jeannie in the chat? Anybody on the panel remember Jeannie? It was before Ancestry.
Oh.
You say yes, Adrian? Yeah.
Yes, you can actually build your own family tree on Genie.
Wow.
It's called GENI. And we still have family members. We still use the tree. They'll send you little notifications that say, this is your cousin's anniversary. This is your cousin's birthday.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Ancestry does send stuff and say that you may have that the leaf that they send, so you have a connection or something like that.
Okay.
So when your daughter found you, is that one of the 3 that I see on your channel?
Yes.
Yeah, they're beautiful. First of all, you know I always say tell my girls hi. So did they ask you about their dad?
Yes, they have reconnected with their father too. So they've actually seen their father and connected with their father too. Okay. Oh, that's one important part, is that we're no longer together. We did get married, as a matter of fact. But unfortunately, drugs was an issue with him. And I had to, separate from him. So we're no longer together, but all 3 of them know their father. Which is, she said, it must have been painful to give up your babies. Say again.
I am just Nene. I don't know if you can see the screen. She said that must have been so painful to give up your babies.
It was. It was. You know what? I decided to get my laptop and look at the comments. Right. I can see that. Yes, it was very painful. It
Angel Light Over
was.
Darkness had
Yeah.
a question there as well. I wonder if anybody here knows, is there any truth to the idea that they keep the DNA afterward? Yeah.
They keep it. They don't get rid of it.
Thought before doing any of this stuff. I know privacy is like a big issue for most people, right? So it's something to think about. Once you give that up, it's out there, right? So
Yeah.
I've done it just
Exactly.
with 23andMe.
I think it's good because, you know, it could be for crime purposes. It could be for, you know, maybe somebody's getting hurt in an accident and they need to. I think it's a good thing. So you do have to, they do ask you that in the beginning and they tell you, you know, this can be used for a criminal purpose. You know, so don't do a crime if you're going to do your DNA because you're going to be caught. Yeah.
But you know what? You're in New York.
I'm in New York.
New York, Vernes. And my first daughter that I put up for adoption, Jonelle, her name is Maria, but I named her Jonelle. So that's what we agreed to call her. She's okay with me calling her by her birth name. Anywho, she's out there in Riverhead. Do you know where Riverhead?
Yes,
New York
Long
is?
Island. Yes.
Yes, so that's where she lives. But by about age 25, she was brave enough to actually come and look for me. And she found me, to make a long story short. And so it's been 7 going on 8 years now, I think, about.
That's awesome.
Give or take. And we've connected. She's going to family reunions and everything. Like I said, on Finding Fate, it gives each one our videos.
And I'm already connected with that. So I must have connected with you before because I'm already connected.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
But listen at this. So I was born in New York, but my family is from Florida and Georgia. So when I found Adrianne, that is how we started working down the street. We still don't know a whole lot, but we have connections of people that are on Ancestry, but again, they are not getting back to us. They're not responding. They're not saying no, don't bother me. They're not saying yes, call me. And it's like, why are you doing this when I'm pouring my heart out to these people? And I'm saying, please contact me. I'm trying to find family. I was adopted at birth and nothing. And this is what makes me think more people know something. Something is just off to me.
Yeah.
It's not an easy transition to find.
Right.
So.
Wow.
Well, I hope you can start putting the pieces together because we have family in Florida and Georgia also, but our family name is Pinkins. So if you ever hear Pinkins, Pinkins, then you automatically related to us.
Wow, that's a different name. Yeah. It says your second daughter's in the chat. What's her name?
Nari.
Hi, Nari. How are you? Hi. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for coming in.
Sometimes you don't have to do a crime and they still attach certain folks to the crime by DNA. Yes, Angel. Yes. I haven't tried because I don't want these folks to have access to my DNA. Oh, are you adopted, Jessica? Oh, okay. Yes, it is something that you need to consider because there are steps that they have to take. And also with Ancestry, it's a saliva. It's not blood. It's a saliva yes. And it's disgusting. It was gross when I had to do it, but I didn't like it. Yes. Don't. No, I'm a pass out. No, yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't. It was awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, Ray. There seems to be secrets.
Our story is unique because we all get along, and I know in a lot of reconnections that doesn't always happen,
right?
You know, and people harbor, ill feelings sometimes. But to me, I feel like it's a blessing. And I thank God that we are able to talk to one another and we're able to get things out, even if my daughters feel like talking about what happened in the past. I don't knock them or cut them off for saying anything. I just kind of go along with it. And I've had times where they'll say, you know what, I'm sorry. They'll call me back, or, you know, we'll video chat and say, sorry, I was in my feelings, you know, but, you know, I still love you, or whatever, you know.
Now, can I ask you another question? Now, you said that they found you. Were they adopted out into the same family or different families?
No, unfortunately, Nari, that's in the chat, her parents actually tried to get my first daughter to try to keep them together, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So they were split and went to different families. Oh, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Vernes, because their parents and I have talked to each other, and we have regular communication with each other.
Oh, that's good.
And we've actually
that's a good one.
Well, I haven't met Nari's parents yet. We've done video chat and we talked on the phone and we've exchanged, you know, like pictures, but we plan to see each other in the future.
And that was nice that they tried to get the first one. Now, how are they as sisters? Are they sisters, or, you know, do they have a miscommunication?
Nari, you can answer that in the chat. Actually, yes.
Yeah, Nari, answer that one.
They actually talk to each other. Yes, they video chat.
Oh, Jessica says she thought of doing it to learn more of her history. See, for me, and this is just for me, the history thing really wasn't a big issue. It was more of the medical and more of the connection to another human being that looked like me, that had the same mannerisms as me, that, you know, we had something in common. That is what I was looking for. I was looking for a connection. I'm wrapping up serious. Yes. Yeah. That is awesome, Ola. I'm so happy for you and your family. And how's your hubby now?
Oh, he's doing pretty good. Yeah.
Good. Because I know he was ill a little while ago, but good. I'm glad.
Yes. I mean, his memory hasn't come back, and he's supposed to see neurology on Monday. So hopefully, I'm hoping that they will find something to find out the reason and the root cause of his memory loss. Yes. But other than that, we're doing fine. I thank God.
And guys, if you connect with Ola Joe, she welcomes you in her stream. You guys know how I use my pom-pom. She uses a bell. In.
Wow.
It's amazing. You got to go with it. I've known Ola Joe, again, we started out in YouTube a year or so ago with Chef and More and Carter's Eats, and it was all of us. So we've all came a long way. Monetizations, yes, everything. So, but thank you for sharing that, Ola Joe. We do appreciate you, because you didn't have to say that. And that was the whole point of this. And today is National Adoption Day, which this was not planned. It was not planned. It just so happened today is National Adoption Day. So to all you adoptees out there, happy National Adoption Day, Kevin.
There you go. It's a coincidence today.
Yeah, it was a coincidence.
I say it's nothing but God, because I'm telling you, when I saw your link pop up on the screen, I said, let me go in here. I said, I haven't been to Vernes in a long time. I said, well, let me go and see what she's up to. And I said, ooh, this is a good topic. I said, Lord, I have to go in here. And I'm just so glad that I came, because doing stuff like this actually helps me.
Yes, it's very therapeutic.
Yes, very, very therapeutic. So thank you for having me on the panel. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Your daughter said it's like we always known each other. So weird, but you forget to mention we're all 10 months apart.
Oh, that's true. Wow. Great point. That is true.
But you were young, and you know, like I told Kevin, it could be someone could have been young. It could have been a family, you know, molestation or anything of that. So everyone's adoption is a different reasoning. You know, I have a niece who was adopted, and I don't know if she knows, and I want to tell her, but she's not old enough yet. I want to wait at least until yes, I think 18 is the perfect age. For me, I think I was too old for them to tell me. Not that I didn't care, but it brought more worries on me because now I'm an adult. I want to know, and now I can know. But in New York, it was so hard to get any information. Everything was sealed, but the other states, it was easy. So now with COVID, it's back on shutdown. So it's like, do I even keep on going or do I just stop?
No, going.
I am. I'm gonna keep on going, but you know, it's just it hurts sometimes. It really does.
Please don't give up hope.
I'm not, because I got an awesome cousin out of it, so I'm not.
Yay!
Yes.
I'm very happy.
Yes.
Cheryl said, I have another niece who was adopted as well, and she reached out to us when she got old enough, and both of her adopted parents passed away. Oh no, Cheryl.
Oh, wow.
My stepfather adopted me. Oh, awesome, Angel. At least they kept family. That was nice. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing. Happy National Adoption Day. Yes, today is National Adoption Day. It wasn't planned. It was just a coincidence. Thank you, Miss Eden with Miss P. She also is monetized. I don't know if you know, Kevin. She just, you know, you were there last night. She got monetized, and it was her birthday.
Very good.
So, would you rather they hadn't told you, Vernes? No. I just think they should have told me. Like I said, when I got 18, and I think they should have gave me more information, because as I'm asking, they're not telling me. So now I'm really like, why did you tell me if you're not telling me? You know, when somebody tells you a story, but they just tell you that much of it.
Yeah.
What about this much? Don't tell me this much, because of course you're going to want to know the rest. That's how I feel. I feel I don't know my whole story.
Wow.
And that part is what gets me upset.
Yeah.
It's like someone tell you you're gonna get a raise at a job, but they don't tell you how much you're getting. Well, I need to know all of it, right? It could be a penny,
right?
You know how much is it?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, you know, they're saying don't give up, Vernes. I wanted to give up too. So many dead ends can be discouraging, but let our story be an inspiration. Thank you. I will. But my cousin and I, we be digging in that Ancestry, believe me.
Yes.
We be digging. We be like, wait a minute, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Let's call them. Believe me, you know, we do our due diligence. We do our part. It's the other people that are not reciprocating it.
Yeah.
And that's what I found out by snooping. It wasn't a good day.
You might find that increases over time too. Like as more and more people get on it, as more and more people tell stories that are good and don't end in disaster, maybe more and more people will be open to it. Somebody like me, I still haven't done any of this yet. I'm doing it for the benefit of other people more than even myself, and for the story to tell more than my even you know, how I care. But as time goes on, maybe I'll find myself to change my mind. Maybe I'll want to know more, and there's got to be more people out there like myself as well. They'll want to know, and you know, maybe we'll all get some more answers as time goes on.
So we've been on an hour and a half. We still got 30 in the chat. Is there anything anyone wants to say? Give us words of encouragement. Let us know. And again, if you guys don't know Ola Joe or Kevin Kaye, please grab them up. If my mods can drop their links in the stream. And if you guys don't know, the beautiful young lady up here is my cousin. And yes. And I'm telling you, it was, I don't know, it was what I want to say. What's that word? It was euphoric when I found her, because I'm like, I told my husband, I said, she wants to talk. She really want to talk.
Wow.
She was like, call me. And I'm like, I'm scared to call. And I was like, would you just call? Of course, you know men. He's like, just call. So I call and we talk and we talk. He was like, you still talking to your cousin? I'm like, yeah. We was on the phone for like 3 hours, like literally, but it was, we were finding out about each other.
That's
you know,
great.
and it's, don't get me to cry, because you know, I really, really like, it's so much love when we met. It's like that we're connected. We really, really are connected.
I was excited I remember telling other, other family members, I was like, we have a cousin. Her name is Laverne, but we don't know.
Yeah.
That is a great part of finding out that I am adopted. That part is amazing, because at least I have a connection to someone, and that's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Yoko. Oh no, enthusiast. Thank you so much. Yes, let me drop the link. One moment.
Listen, I'm gonna head out.
Okay, babe. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome in my cousin. Thank you again. I love you. I'll talk to you later, Bo.
Bye, Adrianne.
All right. Yoko, the only thing I will ask is that you please let me see your face when you come to the screen. I do need to see your face. Kevin, do you know this channel?
Not yet.
Have you heard of it before?
Maybe not.
No. Have you, Ola Joe?
No.
No. Okay. I just like to see their face if I'm not familiar with them before I let them up. But yes, let's see. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray Raquisha. And we will talk, sis, offline. We'll talk offline. But Kevin, what else do you want to let us know? How does your sister feel about is she adopted too?
She is.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're not like adopted by the same, from originally the same parents or anything like that. She said, I don't want to go into too much, right, without asking her about it, but she she's more on the side of wanting to find out information and stuff like that. So she feels differently than I do. That's why when I was so drawn to your ideas when you and I had first discovered, hey, guess what? We're both adopted. How do you feel about this, right? So I understand the mentality of wanting to dig deeper and find people and find answers and stuff like that. It's just always been interesting to me how we think so differently about it.
Steve, whoever Steve is trying to come up, I need to see your face. We don't just allow people on the stream, unfortunately. I need to see your face before we can let you up. We have to be secure on this because this is a live panel.
I'm very, very, very cautious when it comes to that stuff, but with no previous interaction, stuff like that as well, right? I don't know how everybody gets these StreamYard links when they come out.
I think because I just dropped it in the stream.
Yeah, I don't know where the people come from though. Like, sometimes you have I've seen many disasters with live streams where people just come in and I'm like, well, how did you even know there was a StreamYard panel going on if you're not connected to these channels and stuff? Interesting.
Yeah.
Vernes, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Could you do a recap on what was it? Finding family, long lost family. That's what it was. Oh,
yes. Yes.
Because I wanted my daughter to hear about it because she was thinking about trying to find me on long lost family. So can you do a recap on maybe what you was talking to in regards to that?
Okay, so one moment. There were two people, and I'm sorry, but I don't know who you guys are. And if I don't see you and know you, unfortunately, we don't allow anyone on the stream. We have to know you. Yes, so I finding the family before I even became on YouTube. When I got on YouTube last year, November, December, they sent me an application to be on the TV show in January.
Oh.
Okay. I was freaked out and scared. So, of course, I never answered them back. Everybody's like, but why did it just keep going? I don't know. It was something about it was like, it wasn't the right time. I don't know. I feel when you feel that inner, whatever it is, go for it. And I didn't feel it.
Right.
So what they do is they help you to find your family. They go to the archives. They send people and they look. And there's been a couple of people from where I live at that has been on the show. So it's an amazing show. It still comes on. And there have been some great connections. And there have been some that they didn't want to connect. It's a chance you take.
Wow.
Yes.
It's a chance you take, and it's scary because you don't know if the person that you're trying to reach out to is sincere and really wants to be there, or you can go all the way through all the steps and then up to the meeting and then they say no. That's a hurting feeling because you feel rejected.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot. Yes, long lost family did consider our story. Man, I might need to come on so we can talk about this. Okay. You're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to. And I seen Ray Raquisha, and then I saw Angel and Jessica Hicks. I think they were also saying either they were adopted or knew someone. Hey, in Rachel's place, how are you? Please note you must show your face prior to coming up. Yes, thank you.
I'm glad so many people have engaged the conversation in the chat
too.
As well, because it provokes more conversation and more ideas, right, than we otherwise may have not got into.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Ola, when you okay, this is a question I have from you from your daughter's point of view. When you signed the birth certificate, did you put, let me see what they call it. They call it non-identifying information about you?
No, I wanted her to find me. So this is what I was told. I was told that I wouldn't be able to contact her if I tried to contact her first until after she was age. Usually that's 18 years of age, unless I guess whatever state you're in changes the age. But once they become of age, then you can contact them. So no, I always felt like she would come and knock on my door. And that's what I told her. I said, you know, that was the vision that I had. One day she will look for me. And I felt like I would be ready to receive her. And that's what I did. It just didn't happen in that same way that I envisioned. You know, it was a phone conversation.
See, Kevin, you must have had non-identifying information if your parents, I say your parents because that's who raised you, your parents had information about your natural parents.
Yeah, my mom has an envelope. She's offered to hand it to me. She's even like, you know, at a family dinner, she's brought the envelope down and put it on the table and said, if you want this, it's right here. And I'm like, no, I don't, I'm not worried about it. I said, someday, now I know it's there. I can have it anytime I want, right? So maybe I'll look for it one day or whatever. But because she wants to be so forthright about it, if that's the right word to use, she did mention to me the last name of what must have been my mother, like, you know, or whatever. And I did find myself going on Google and just doing a quick search, and probably Facebook and this and that. Can't find a thing. I'm telling you, and this is why I say, like, so I didn't do a great job of looking, and I think I know how to look, but, you know, that's why I make the joke all the time. It's like all these people go right into the witness protection program after, because we can't find anything, and it's kind of remarkable.
Yeah, Angel, see, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel any different with my mom and dad. And I think that's because they didn't tell me. I think if they would have told me, I probably would have been looking like, wait a minute, that don't seem right. But because they never said anything, of course, I just chalked it up to that's my mom and my dad. You know, I never had any idea, any clue that I was adopted. None.
So what was the conversation like then? Like,
so,
they told you, so what happened?
So my mom said, I came in from work one day. I told you I was like 21, 22. And she said, come in the room. I want to talk to you. And so I'm like, okay, you know, that's your mom. She want to, you know, drill you where you been, where, you know, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I just want to let you know that you were adopted at birth. And I'm like, what? I'm thinking she's joking. I literally is thinking you're joking. Yeah. It's a hoax. And she goes, you know, your mom died at birth and we adopted you. And that was it. That was literally it. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. And I'm literally sitting there like, kidding me? Are you kidding me? Until this day, my dad has never said you're adopted. My dad has never said those words to me.
I've heard stories where people are unable to accept it. Like I've heard stories where somebody was told, if I understand, after the age of 50, they were told that they had been adopted their whole life. And I can
Yes, I've
only
seen
imagine
that.
that is like hard to accept. It's like your whole life you think something,
Yep.
and then I can't even imagine what that's like, right?
Yes. On a lot of the adoption sites that I'm connected to, the groups, a lot of them didn't know till they was 40, 50, 60.
Wow.
And then their parents sometimes are still alive and sometimes they're not, depending on the age.
Yeah.
But yes, I have seen that and they were so hurt. And I understand, because I think that they should not have waited till I was grown, married with kids and out the house. I don't think they should have waited that long. I think they should have told me at 18, because then, and I remember this clearly. One day I was going to the doctor. My dad was military. So in military, when you're growing up military, you always go to the military hospital. It's called the base. Okay. You always went to the naval base. You always went, you know what I'm talking about, Ola Joe. So I always went to those doctors. So when I got of age and got married, they was like, you're no longer on, you're married, you're with your husband. I need a birth certificate. And it was like a hesitancy of giving me that. And I'm like, what? But not thinking, not knowing now. Well, why won't they give it to me? I'm not going to lose it. I'll make a copy. And they're like, no. And as I'm reading it, it has my adopted mom and dad name. So I don't know nothing. I'm thinking this is cool. But when I get my original, that's when I notice differences.
Wow.
Mom's real name. I have 6 other brothers and sisters, because back in those days, in the 60s and 70s, they put on the birth certificate how many children was previously born to the mother.
Oh.
He had 6 or 7 other children before me. I was the baby.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if the other children even know about me. Maybe they thought I died with her in childbirth. I don't know.
Wow.
So and then my name was spelled a little bit different. I had a different name, and it was just like, wait a minute, like, what is going on? And it's hard. It's still, I don't want to cry till this day. I still get so upset with it.
Yeah.
And I should be over this by now.
No, it's understandable. This is, it's your identity, right? It's who you are, kind of at the core is what you're talking about here. Again, it's so interesting to me, our polar opposites in our thoughts about all of this stuff, especially, for all this time. And it's, I can't even imagine what it's like to have gone through that. Because like I said, there's never been a day that I didn't know, right?
Hence the title, do all adoptees think the same? And no, we don't.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that I see that met their family and their families was awful to them, or met them, went to a reunion. When they got to the reunion, they got into a big argument, big fight. It was like, you're not my daughter anyway. You were, and it's awful. I'm telling you, Kevin, some of the stories I hear, I'm heartbroken for those people.
Yeah.
Some are awful. Or this is what they'll say. I met my real mom or my real dad, but because they have family, they never told their wife and husband about the child. So therefore, they don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah.
That's like a form of rejection for the adoptee.
Yeah.
Now you have to go to therapy. Some people want to hurt themselves. It's awful.
Wow.
Because we didn't ask to be born into this. And the least you could do is tell me about me. That's the best you can do.
I do remember, I only vaguely remember a couple of conversations when I was a kid, like getting in trouble. My parents would get just as mad as everybody else or whatever. But I remember my dad, grabbing me by the throat. And, I'd be like, why do you hate me so much? As kids would say to their parents. And my dad would be like, no, we chose you, which is not entirely true. But, but the way that the story goes, there's a little more accuracy than in the middle of an argument between a father and a son is going to go on. But as far as I remember, they never turned and said anything harsh like that. And that's what I mean. It makes a big difference the way you're raised, maybe, but you can have the confidence. My parents love me just as much as any parent loved their kids. My mother, my whole life at over 40 years old, will not say no if I need help for some reason. You know what I mean? will always help. And she doesn't treat me like any differently than anybody else. But again, I find all of this stuff interesting. It's unfortunate when people have to go through situations that are, either negative or that have to be hurt in different ways and stuff like that. And I'm extremely fortunate. So I'm hoping that for my part in our conversation, for anybody that watches this or has been with us or watches this afterwards, realizes, hey, it's not all negative. Adoption doesn't have to be a negative thing. Like, are you worried about, are the kids going to be okay? Are they going to be fine? I promise you, like, I'm just fine, right? Grown up, love my family, always happy to help people, always happy to do right, this kind of stuff. And, I hope that our whole conversation can be at least positive, if not inspiring,
Yes, I hope it helps someone. And again, you can always reach out to me on IG if you just want to talk, if you want to know more information. I'm very open to talking to people about it because I want to know, and you may have somewhere that else that I can check that maybe I'm not checking, or anything
that
like
makes sense too.
In New York, it was always hard to get your information because everything was sealed. They had it sealed no matter what age you were in New York last year. I could have written to them and asked them for my birth certificate now at this age, and they would say no. And that's not right because that's information about me that you're hiding. But my family has it and they won't tell me. How I felt? I felt in the middle.
Yeah.
So now they just opened it, but because of COVID, so it's like, I don't know. I'm just stuck. It's heartbreaking, and I didn't like my dad after that. That was Angel. Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. I may adopt kids in the future. It's good to understand how folks feel. I think adoption is amazing. I think it stops a child's life sometimes from going in the wrong direction if the parent really loves the child and brings up the child the right way. Mm-hmm. But we all know and heard of the horrible adoption stories of kids being harmed and hurt. But for me, I've never, like I said, I had a great upbringing. I could not ask for anything better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just that I don't know my information.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add to this, Kevin? Besides let us know again about the 23andMe, or how to go about, say if I wanted to do it, how would I go about doing the process of 23andMe?
Yeah, I think, so mine was given to me as a gift. I have the kit, here. I've sent in my stuff and all that, right? But that was given as a gift to me. Actually, what happened is my sister had given it to my mother as a gift, whatever. They both happened to be adopted or whatever. My mother's adopted too, right? So it makes it more interesting. And so they both did it. And then Kristen, because of their doing that, said maybe Kevin will want this, and got it for me for Father's Day as an idea. So all I did was the saliva pack that they have, and I sent it in, and I'm waiting for results now. And I haven't seen anything so far. But what I will do is when I get the results, I'll make a video, because I'll be learning for the first time about my history, and I'm well into my 40s now, right? So it might be interesting for some people to see. And then, like I said, afterwards, at some point, maybe we can do another talk like this, because my personal dynamic will have changed by then. And I don't know, maybe I'll have different thoughts or different answers about some of this stuff. You never know, right?
What I would like you to do is write down what you think your nationality is compared to what it really is. Now that's interesting.
I can document it for you right now, because when I have worked in places where there has been a lot of Polish people, they walk up to me and just start speaking Polish. So it makes me think I must truly look Polish. However, when I look to the side, you can possibly see that my nose has Ukrainian traits to it. So what happens is, I have some friends who are Ukrainian. When I stand with them, people walk up and assume that we're family. And we have a closeness because we're friends and this and that, but that's the truth. So if I was to guess, I would say there has to be Polish and Ukrainian in there. but that's just based on judging a book by its cover, right? But other than that, I wouldn't know. Otherwise, most of Canada is a mix of Irish, British, Scottish, and English and everything, all that other stuff. I'm just assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
But Canada is your home. That's the only place you've ever lived, right? Your roots are there.
Sorry, say again?
Your roots are there in Canada?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about my bloodline, let's say, and that's what I'm going to find out. But for my life and my family, yeah, all my grandparents were born on Canadian soil that I know.
Oh, okay.
Right? So,
okay.
Yeah, everybody's from Toronto. Like, we're all like from here, you know what I mean? So it's.
Okay, y'all stay safe too. I saw on the news today you guys are in lockdown.
We're scaling back, yeah, so things are tightening up. We had a record day today.
I saw it.
Yeah, bad news. So here we go again, right?
Yeah, us too. New York too. Just living life. My adopted mom is deceased. She died like a year after she told me that. So again, I'm in my feelings, okay? And my dad, he's still living. He's 90, and that is my daddy. No one can tell me any different. However, he's not telling me any information.
Yeah, wow.
Like, I don't know what happened. You was there and we adopted you. That's it. And it's like, that's not an answer.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to force him. Like I said, he may just go to his grave and never tell me. And then I just have to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know. What else can I do?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my daddy. I respect him. And I would never say anything bad, negative, anything about him, except for he's not telling me my life story. But that's it. Other than that, that's my daddy. Nobody else better not say nothing about him. Yes, Mariska, thank you. I've always wanted to be a foster parent. Oh, Denise, really? That's awesome. Now, Ola Joe, I don't know if you answered that question. Even though what happened, would you adopt if, say, after you had your third child, you couldn't have any more, and you wanted one with your husband? Would you have considered adopting?
We did talk about that, and I actually thought about adopting when I got orders to California. My last set of orders was in California, and I thought about adopting at the same place where I put my first daughter up for adoption. So I did think about that.
Okay. Wouldn't that have been, well, no, because they probably would have done a blood test. I said, wouldn't that have been weird if you would have wound up adopting them?
If I would have adopted
your own children, but they would have been of age, right?
They were all grown by then. Mm-hmm.
Mariska said, yeah, she's pretty sure you got Ukrainian in you.
Looks like it.
Definitely European and Kevin. Okay. Hey, Patrick, how are you? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping in. That's okay. Thank you so much. That is frustrating, but it is what it is. Yes. Do you think he does know and maybe doesn't want to lose you? I have considered that, Jazzy, but it's no way in the world, and I'm serious, no one could ever tell me that's not my daddy. Nobody. Even when my husband be joking and he says something, don't play. Yeah. Don't play. That's my daddy. Don't play. Military Navy man, don't play. Ola Joe knows. Don't play.
I do. Can I say something on that?
Yes.
You go
right ahead.
I wanted to say one major point that I missed and I hadn't discussed was the fact how do the adopted parents feel once they know that they have reconnected to their birth parents? I can answer that. Okay. It's not easy. And it was easier for me to talk to my middle daughter, Nari, about it and handle it with her and her parents because I had already dealt with it once. But my first child, okay? Now, the father, her adopted father, was okay with the reconnection, but not the mother. As a matter of fact, every once in a while, she'll have this jealousy streak. And it was as if we never sat down and had a conversation. And I said, I'm not here to take your daughter away from you. Because there are times, and there have been stories, some of you in the chat and some of you on the panel may know that when the birth parents come along, then they forget about who raised them. Okay. I specifically sat down with my first daughter, Jonelle, and talked to her mom. We had conversation. We went out to lunch, you know, we went out and just had me and her time. And we had a conversation about that. And I let her know that this is not what I'm here to do. I'm not going to be a thorn in anybody's side. I'm here to support her and help her if she needs any questions answered about her family. And that's it. Okay. I'm not trying to take her away. But every once in a while, like if she want to go and she want to go out of town with me or do this or that, now it's an issue. So we've had those, and it's been ups and downs, you know, peaks and valleys going on. But long story short of it is that it does happen, but we still get along. She still calls me and she'll say, oh, well, how's your husband doing? You know, and stuff like that. So we have dialogue. We talk on a regular basis. You know,
what do your children call you?
Well, my first daughter calls me mom, and my second daughter calls me Mama Bear.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Yes. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But that was a work in progress. You know, it didn't happen overnight. I can't just wake up and reconnect with my children that I gave birth to and expect them to call me mom. You know, I would be a fool to think that. You know, it'd be nice if they did that, but in all actuality, I didn't raise them. I wasn't a part of their lives. You know, I'm a part of their lives now, but you know, that's something that I'll have to deal with moving forward. And it's not easy, you know, especially if you have your child call you by your first name. No, because my third daughter that I actually kept and raised, she don't call me by my first name, and I would probably slap her in the face. No, I wouldn't. But I'm just saying, don't call me by my first name. You call me mom. That's respect. But
right. That's what I would never. I've always called my daddy dad. I would never call him by his first name. You crazy? Hell. Yeah. And my kids, they never call an adult by their first name. They always put a miss or mister on it. I don't play that.
Right.
Today, my kids are adults and they call my friends still by their first name, and they're like, why are they still? They won't do it because that's how you raise them.
My son and I, we call each other Guy, like, hey Guy, like so much that when like we be like we're dear friends as well, right? And so we'd be out in like a grocery store or something, and he'd be pointing to something to me and say like, hey dad. He'd be like, Guy. And then I'd look because it's more natural for us to call each other like, hey Guy, instead of you know, it's kind of weird, but interesting.
Well, I do want to say, because I find my story unique, I am going to be starting to write that book, Kevin. I talked to someone the other day and they know who they are.
Good.
We're going to work on it. They held me accountable, and I am supposed to have the name of my book by January 1st. Yes, so Excellent. They are my accountability partner, and we are going to do this. So if anyone knows anything about writing a book, a publisher, editor, you know, let me know, because I really, really want to get started on this like, ASAP. I want to delve into it. I don't know if you know, you don't know, Ola Joe, you wasn't here, you know, I recently lost my employment. My position was eliminated at 19, so now I have nothing but time. But so I might as well get on the ball and do it and put it into action. So that's what I'm at.
Good.
Okay, Vernes, do you know Pastor Kim?
Yes.
Okay, well, Pastor Kim actually has two. She went live one day and she talked about the people she went through to write her books. And I know I did a screenshot of the information, but I'll have to go back because it's been a few weeks now. But I'm telling you, if you message Pastor Kim and say, Ola Joe said, contact you because I need to write these books, She's gonna give you the information. She has 2 wonderful people, God-fearing women, that will definitely help you out and help you to write that book. And it's not that expensive.
Okay.
So they have websites and everything. They'll take you from the beginning all the way through.
Okay. Thank you, Mariska. I will be reaching out to you too. Thank you. This is guy that normally joins my lives who just wrote a book. Okay, Jessica, let me know too. Yes. You see, this is the only way we have to have that connection and that interaction of helping each other. So how is your channel going, Ola Joe?
It's great. You know what? I'm at 7.99. 7.99. I'm trying to get to 8K.
Okay.
Wow.
It's going great.
That is great.
I thank God. Yeah, everything is going well. I'm getting ready to do a giveaway soon.
Woo.
I'm crocheting and just doing this usual stuff that I do.
Yeah, she has a great channel, a great community, and Kevin does too. Kevin is awesome, and you know, my whole chat, they're always amazing. I think all you guys that are here is 24 in this stream. We certainly do appreciate you. And if my mods are here, I'm just going to look and see. If you can please drop the link for Kevin Kaye and Ola Joe again, drop their links in the stream. Ola Joe, let us know when you go live, and then Kevin, I'll come to you. Most of us know you, Kevin. But let us know when you go live, when you upload, what you do on your channel.
Will do.
No, let us know now. Let the chat know.
Oh, well, I don't have specific times when I go live. So I thought you were saying that you needed me to, give you a future time. You know, I'll send you a message when I go live. I don't go live like on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a specific day or time. I don't.
All right, what do you do on your channel?
For me, what I do is I crochet, I do giveaways, and I review products. That's what I do on my channel for Ola Joe, the Crocheting Sailor.
Okay. Thank you. And I have a second channel. I don't know if you know. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I was just going to let them know that I'm on IG. I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook group, and it's Sailors Networking Stream. And what I would like to do is basically build up more membership over there. Like, say, for instance, when you went live, I went over there and I dropped your link. I want to be able to build it up. Yeah, you're welcome. So it's a growth channel. I mean, well, I say group, you know, a growth group. So if you have a new video, Kevin, you can go ahead and you can go over there and you could drop it on the Sailors Networking Lounge and then let people know that you're going live. Same for you, Vernes, or anybody in the
Is that IG or is that Facebook?
Cool.
That's Facebook. And all of my links are in my description box for all of
repeat the name one more time. Sailors
Networking Lounge.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will make sure I'm on it. Yeah, and I have a second channel. I don't know if you know. It's called V Mac Show. They dropped it in the stream. It's right there.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just get to know me over there. It's fun. We just have a good time. And you guys, yes, Kevin's link is in the stream. But Kevin, let us know about your channels because he has 2.
So thank you. Yeah. So I have my personal channel where I do a lot of experimenting and just fun stuff and whatever idea comes to mind. And then my second channel is called Tuber Chat, where we help people grow their channels by connecting the right way and swapping playlists and doing all that good stuff. So that's going very, very well as well.
Yes. So guys, again, thank you so much for being here and listening to my story and Kevin's story. Kevin is my friend. Again, we have differences of adoption, but we are friends, and I don't look at him any way different. He doesn't look, we just have different opinions of it. Okay. And Ola Joe, again, if you guys don't have her channel, make sure you are checking her out. And I want to say thank you again, cousin. I know she's not here. My cousin was here, but guys, please remember, today is a good day to have a great day. And you guys know I love you. Again, thank you to my guests. And Ola Joe, thank you again. Kevin, you know I love you. You know I'll be talking to you soon. And I want to say to you guys, love and light, love and light. And thank you all for being here and just supporting me watching my videos, helping me get to my goals. I appreciate you so much. Do you have memberships, Ola Joe?
No, I haven't
No,
activated it yet. I know you beat me up about it.
Okay, yeah, get those memberships. But guys, again, thank you all so much for being here. I super appreciate you guys. Mariska says she has to watch the replay. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Kevin said, cheers, everyone. It's Sunday here. Oh, okay. I forgot she's in another part of the country. Yes. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, sis. But guys, thank you so much. And you guys have a great night. And please stay safe and have a happy Thanksgiving for those that celebrate, and a Merry Christmas if I don't see you. So again, guys, love and light.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ola Joe. Hold on, Kevin. Let me sign out.